Hey everyone, it's BBTV. We're here with Melody Zenmaiden1 from YouTube. We're so excited to have her as a guest tonight, and we're going to spend some time getting to know her, talk about her journey, talk about her plans with BBTV, and so on and so forth. So please welcome Zenmaiden1, which is Melody, and she is going to be kind of sharing her story as well and some of her revision plans as well. So,
hi there. Yeah, thank you so much, Christina, for having me on the show. And I just wanted to say hi to everyone. Thanks for watching. I'm Zenmaiden1, and I've been 4 years out now from post-op VSG surgery. I have not had any prior surgeries. I started, my highest weight was 252, day of surgery 247, just kind of running through the stats. I'm 5'4.5" on a good day. Always would like to get some more height in there, but that hasn't happened yet. So anyway, my lowest point was about 180, and I am a few pounds away from that now. Lately, I've had some great success with losing some of the excess regain that I had gotten, which was the maximum. I think I had regained 18 pounds from my lowest, or if you want to call it that, bounce back from your lowest point. So that is one thing I want to share with you guys today. Christina, you can ask me, you know, as we go along. Don't want to monopolize the conversation.
No, that's okay. That's totally fun.
And I'll just tell you the whole thing right here. So that's pretty much it. I just did want to add, my surgery was done in Palmdale, California at Palmdale Regional Hospital by Dr. John Yadigar, if anyone cares. He's a surgery there, and he's a great bariatric doctor, and he's given me a lot of great advice.
Yay! So before we kind of start on some questions would you prefer Zen, or can I call you Melody, or what do you prefer?
Whatever you like. Both. I mean, everybody knows me as Zen and here on YouTube, and only my personal friends really know me as Melody, or anybody who's met me in person. That's okay. The way that works here. But I mean, you can call me whatever you like. I answer to
to both. Okay, so before we get started with some questions for Zen, I just want to say, as most of you guys know that are running shows and running Google Live Hangouts, that we cannot utilize the comment section of our shows. So we encourage you to click on the banner above our screen there, or excuse me, below in the left-hand corner. I believe if you're looking straight at the screen, it says join the conversation. When you do that, there will be 2 icons up in the top right-hand corner. It looks like a Rubik's Cube kind of blocked box thing. You click on that. There'll be a Q&A that's running and a showcase. The showcase is to subscribe to Zen's channel if you're interested in following her journey moving forward. And the Q&A is to kind of involve any Google subscribers. And you know, if you have a Gmail, then you can chime in and ask questions and so on and so forth. So that helps us a lot. If that does not work, we both are willing to take any questions via Facebook. We do have our Facebook stuff with our messengers app. So feel free to reach out to either one of us so that we can get to you and address your questions. We will usually be doing that right around 20 to 15 minutes right before the, you know, as we wrap up the show, just to make sure that we don't miss anything in case you want to ask. So my first question is, in your journey, you know, as I ask pretty much everybody, what was your lowest point, you know, where you were pushed to like, I just, you know, I can't try anything else, you know, I've just had it with this whole, you know, challenge of being obese or overweight, or you know, whatever, however you referred yourself. What brought you to researching the surgery?
Okay, basically I think that I had gotten to, my health had gotten to a point where it was not really very good. I had a lot of problem walking any distance. My feet were really hurting a lot from the excess weight, or from the, I have arthritis in my feet, it turns out, but I didn't know that then. And I could hardly find any shoes that were comfortable. I couldn't walk very far without being winded. Of course, smoking didn't help, but nonetheless, being overweight was the major thing. Carrying laundry up 2-3 flights of stairs that I have here at the house was also a pain, and running after 3 kids and all that, you know. And also seeing myself in a picture on a Mother's Day, actually was in 2011. Mother's Day, my daughter had taken a photo. She made me breakfast, and I'm sitting at I had it on a tray table or something, and it was like a side view, and I was like, holy shit, you know, who is that? Who have you become? What is wrong with you, woman? You know, wake the hell up. So I started, I don't know why I went on YouTube, but I started looking at stuff, and I decided that I was going to go and get a referral to the bariatric surgery department. You know, I had HMO at the time, Blue Cross Blue Shield, with my company insurance. So, I mean, it was covered. And I went and started the journey. I believe my first appointment was August 24th. I had my surgery November 15th. 20th.
Well, that's pretty quick. So did you have to go through the short, what is it, the OptiFast, or, some kind of supervised diet as well? Or?
I had to quit smoking. That's what I had to do. That was my major challenge. Yeah, I had to, of course, try to start eating better, right?
Right,
and
right.
I had to go through, I think I must have had 8 or 10 doctor appointments because I had pulmonary, I had to go to a vein specialist because I had a venous problem in my legs, venous return, leaky veins, whatever you want to call it. So they were checking all that stuff, my lungs, my heart. I had the cardiac stress test and so forth. I did not have a sleep apnea test because I didn't think I had sleep apnea, but it turns out I actually probably do or did because I'm in sleep therapy now, but not then. So yeah, those are some of the tests I had done. I did have a short liquid diet. I think it was 2-day, where you have to do the clean out and that stuff, to reduce the size of your liver. And the doctor had assured me that the gastric sleeve was going to be good for me. And, he didn't push me to deciding. He gave me the option of the RNY. I did never consider the lap band because I just, after doing a lot of research, it just wasn't a good option for me. And in retrospect, I think that I would have been happy with the gastric bypass. But at the time, I didn't feel that I wanted to have dumping syndrome. I already suffer from migraine, and that's like enough discomfort and disorder and, craziness in my life. I thought if I have that dumping syndrome, that's just going to add another piece of shit to the pile, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
right?
No, absolutely.
And I just thought, you know what, you already go through enough. You really don't need that on top of it. But in retrospect, I think had I been smart, I would have thought, okay, this is a good thing for me because this is aversion therapy and this is what you need. Because just like when you have an allergy to something, you avoid it because it'll give you a terrible reaction or close your throat or whatever, because I have those too. Yeah, aversion therapy to sweets or whatever, some of the things, my favorite things are sweet. And yeah.
That's a good question. So when you had the surgery, because you said that even though you had considered the thought of bypass, but just knew too many side effects, the way it affects patients and so on, as you were going through your stages, and you were starting to eat normally, did you ever have trouble within that first year eating anything such as dense meat, sweets, or any of those things? So you were able just to kind of go back little by little, and you didn't have a lot of limitations?
No, none. I have no limitations. Sweets, they do make nauseous if I have too much of a sweet thing. It'll make me feel nauseous, and now I have gastritis. So if I have sweet and coffee, I have instant heartburn, and other things cause heartburn too, like working out and so forth. So the other thing about the gastric sleeve is I thought that I could overcome the odds of the 70% excess weight loss and do 100% excess weight loss. I thought, okay, I'll just follow his rules to a T. I'll do this, and this. I will dot the I, cross the T, work out extra hard, do this, and I will get to 135, right?
Mm-hmm. I know that feeling very well.
Before I had my daughter, I was like 130, 125, 120. So I thought, well, I'm older now. I don't want to go back that far. So let's just pick 135. And, a friend of mine teased me. He would always tell me, you should just tattoo that on your head, Yeah. That's all you think about. And truly it was at a given point in time. But after, going through the journey and experiencing all the things that happened to me personally, and being devastated by the fact that my weight loss stopped and then slowed. And, even though I was eating way under, 1,000 calories, it just did not continue. It sort of like slowed and stopped. And I'm thinking, oh, you know what? You're one of the people it's not going to work for. So, I had to keep going back and back and back and back and back to the bariatric surgeon.
Yeah, so you did then. You shared that with them. Like once your weight loss stopped, you did call them and say, what can I
Oh yeah,
do? You know, why is this happening?
right.
Should I increase, decrease, you know,
Yeah,
calories or supplements or what have you?
they,
So you tried it all, it sounds like.
they don't know. You know, the bottom line is they don't know your body.
That's true. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
learning that myself. You know, it's very frustrating because I feel like, you know, with regain, and I'm just a little behind you, you know, I feel like, I mean, I feel like it's as, I don't know if you feel the same, but I feel like it's as easy to lose weight as it is to gain weight, you know, this on the other side of where we are now. But I still feel like it's harder to keep it off. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like
I,
similar to being normal, but not
I
so
just,
much.
yeah, I disagree with that in the way that I feel that for me, it's very hard to lose weight. And until lately, it has been very, very hard to lose weight. And I can share what I've been doing, lost 12 pounds in the last few weeks. And that
Absolutely.
is I'm now taking an acid blocker every day. Apparently, because I had so much acid in my stomach that was causing me the gastritis, the pain and stuff, that I kind of ignored because I'm one of those people that I just push through and think, oh, I'll just take a couple of Gaviscon, just open the bottle. I have a full pharmacy here.
Yeah.
Take a few of those and carry them with me. And it's like no big deal. It's just hereditary. Just forget about it, right?
Right.
So yeah. So now that I take the acid blocker every day at the recommendation of my bariatric surgeon, I take the omeprazole magnesium, that one. And you could take a generic. He told me to get Prevacid, but I got the generic from Walgreens. And I take it every day. I have to open the capsule. He does not allow capsule swallowing. I do that only with my painkillers when I need them. I will not open the capsule, but every other capsule, I open them religiously because he says that medicine doesn't absorb properly in the gastric stomach unless you open the capsule. So every day I have to go through this bitter, multiple little bead thing and drop it in my mouth. And, you know. But anyway, the good thing about doing that has been that I've lost 12 pounds in about 3 weeks. I want to say about 3 weeks. And of course, I am reducing my portion size because number one, guys, this is news flash, I am not hungry. So there may be a couple of reasons for that, but the main one is that I am just not feeling the sensation of hunger. And for me, that is a miracle because my hunger came back at about 13 months post-op. My hunger came back. It wasn't the same as pre-op, but it was definitely present. You know, so at those times of the day when it was time to eat, I was ready to eat, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All day and go, oh, shoot, I didn't eat anything, you know, and I got to go ahead and make myself have, you know, Gene Pro in my coffee. I have that at least 2 times a day to get 90 grams. And then I eat fish and, you know, it's just been staying with the lean proteins primarily and vegetable salad, stuff like that. You know, anybody who sees my Instagram knows how I eat. So that is truly how I eat. That's my food. That's it. And so it's been working for me.
Yeah, you'll have to let me know your Instagram link because I didn't know you had an Instagram or I would have put it in the showcase.
Zenmaiden1 for all you guys who want to find me on Instagram.
Yeah, I'll make sure and put that at the link below when we're done because I didn't know that. I would have been following you myself. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I put a lot of food pictures, fitness motivation, because that's what I'm into. I think that not only the diet portion of the journey is so important, but also establishing a fitness routine and making yourself the best you can be. You know, we all have our flaws, our things that we have to work on, and that's a given, you know, but I just try to do, as far as in those two areas, I'm doing pretty well, you know.
That's good. Yeah. So I guess maybe well actually that's another good question. When did you incorporate, you know, for those new that are watching this or that are interested in following your journey, when do you think was the vital time you incorporated fitness to really help, you know what I mean, the success of your first year? Because I feel like a lot of people don't really put a lot of effort into that in the beginning.
And I think that is a cardinal mistake. I started from before I got my surgery. I started going to the gym and I didn't like it. I have to tell you guys, I did not like it. I was bored. I was this, I was that, but I made myself get on the bike and cycle until I was like drenched in sweat. And then afterward, after surgery, you know, I started doing different things, whether it be on the treadmill or the bike, different machines, whatever. Dogs, sorry. My dogs are getting ready to bark. And they'll sound like a crazy house. So, so anyway, I know, right? Shut the dog up. So, what was I saying? Oh, about the fitness. Yeah. So I started off slowly, and then I started integrating different exercise classes, and I started doing core training, strength training, and just kind of like I had a personal trainer too before I had surgery for about, I want to say about 9 months. So I really didn't get a lot from her. You know, I mean, I understand how to use the machines and do the moves. I wasn't really feeling that good. So I didn't benefit from her, and it cost me a fortune, right? But you know, in retrospect, I still think it was good. It got my ass off the couch, got me doing it, got me into the routine of going. And then once I had the surgery, I was so gung-ho that I would go and I would do 90 minutes, 2 hours, and it was like 5-6 days a week. And then, you know, when my weight loss slowed down, I was discouraged by that because I had taken up kickboxing, and it was, I thought, you know, for all this energy I'm expending for this hour, you know, you come out of there, you are literally drenched in sweat. And all that energy and effort that it takes to that sport, you know, I kept thinking my results should be better than this. So I kind of went through different phases of just shifting my exercise, but I've never actually stopped going to the gym. I still go to the gym regularly. I would say average 5 times a week, every week, unless I'm sick. And then I have to take a few days off here and there. And I try to get 2 rest days every week, sometimes 1 if I'm having too much fun. You know, if somebody else wants to go with me and we're going, you know, we're going to do a class and have fun. Or, you know, sometimes I like doing 2 classes. I'll do like a hardcore workout class, and then I'll do a yoga. You know, stretching, all these things that you incorporate make it fun. Standing on a treadmill, marching in place, unless that's really your thing and your calling. You know what I mean? I watch YouTube videos when I'm on the treadmill, but I just try to mix it up, you know what I mean, to make it fun. And if you make yourself go every day, you're going to meet people there. They may not be people you hang out with, but they're friendly and they're fun and
motivating.
You know, talk about you when you don't come. Where the hell have you been? I'll say, well, I went to a different club because we have different locations. But it's kind of nice to have that group, core group of people there that are supportive and they're happy for you when they see you lose weight and, you know, stuff like that. So it's all good.
Yeah. When you were doing those high energy classes, were you also trying to maybe up your calories a little bit because, I mean, I'm just asking, you know, because you were doing such a hardcore workout, or?
Initially, no, because my capacity was so limited. I could not really physically increase the amount of calories that I was eating because it would be full too fast. I have a very small sleeve. According to my doctor, he said it's a 32 French, which means it's probably about, he showed me, about this wide, and it's about as long as a hot dog. So it's about that long.
Wow.
So it's always been very small, but you know, slider food, you can get your yogurts down, you can add stuff to your yogurt, and all that's just going to slide right down, and that's big calories, you know. I think that one of the mistakes I made is eating too much Greek yogurt and piling in the almonds, the chia, the coconut, you know, the fruit. You know, you got to really be careful. Even though those things are tasty, have a smaller portion of that. So you can still pick it up and make it how you want it. And I just think that after we get to a certain point, we have to be a lot more careful. Obviously, a lot of people are going to lose, and some will lose 100%, and some will lose 50%, and some will lose less or more, anywhere in between. But my doctor was telling me also that there is a subset of patients that do not do well at 1,200 calories, me being one of them, because I rarely eat 1,200 calories a day. I usually at about 900, 950. When I would eat more now, I think I'm a little lower, probably about 750, 700 right now. But that's just because I'm in this phase and I'm seeing myself lose, and I'm like, yes, I can do this. I'm going to keep going. And some days I'll eat a little more. Some days I'll eat a little less, not on purpose, just that's the way it's happening. But I'm always trying to get my 90 to 100 grams protein, and I'm trying to drink my water. I'm the worst water drinker. The worst.
I know how that is. Trust me, I know. Water is just something that is not. I mean, I feel like I used to feel like adding cucumber. You know how you play with it. You add mint. You know, you can add. I don't know. A lot of people do lemon, lime, whatever. You know, and I really became really acquainted with cucumber water. I really like it. But then for some reason, out of nowhere, it started tasting medicine-y. You know what I mean? To me, I mean, at first when I first had it, it was really crisp, you know, tasting. So I felt like I could get in what I needed to get in. And then for some reason, it just turned on me. So it's like almost like my taste, you know, changed. But one thing I did want to ask too, that now that I think you're 4 years out right now. You just had your 4-year surge anniversary.
Yeah, I had it, yes.
So yay! But do you still feel like you have restriction? Yeah. Do you still feel like you have the restriction as well when you kind of push it a little bit?
Well, I mean, there are times when I have felt that I didn't have as good a restriction, but right now I think I have tremendous restriction. And I think that just scaling it back some and using the acid blocker has really opened my eyes to a lot of things about my body. And, you know, I went through so many different things to try to find out why I wasn't losing weight. I went to sleep therapy. I had sleep tests. I had metabolic tests. I had, you name it, I had it. I had hormone tests. I had got onto bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. I mean, I tried pretty much everything because this is something that I really wanted to do, is to get myself in the picture of health, so to say. And just be the best I could be. And because I wanted to do that before I had my plastic surgery, which is part of my goal plan, to have the 340 or what is the 340 lower body lift, not full body lift, but you know, extended or whatever with muscle there. And then I plan to go back and have maybe some other things done after that. I'm just going to do one thing at a time and do that. I had originally talked, maybe on some of my videos, maybe some of you are familiar with, I was thinking of going to Mexico for a revision surgery prior to me starting to lose weight again out of the blue, right? Because of my frustration of trying everything and realizing that, hey, I'm never going to see my goal, and this is what I want for myself, and so on and so forth. So I had contacted surgeons in Mexico. I had interviewed several of them. I found a couple that I really liked. They were very sweet, and they seemed very competent and capable. However, after watching Dr. Katzen speak on The Naked Truth, as I'm sure you watched him, I've met with him many times. I've gotten a couple of quotes from him for plastics, and I will probably use him for my plastic surgery because I respect his opinion. I think he does excellent work. And my surgeon also, they both share the same opinion, and that is, number one, if you have insurance in the U.S. and you have surgery in Mexico, and you pay cash, and you come home and you have some kind of major complication, a leak or something else, bleeding or infection, you know, you name it, you know what the complications are of all these things, and especially with revision, the chances of those are increased because they cut across staple lines. They, you know, they're cutting into your gut, reattaching, so on and so forth. Yeah. And so it isn't to diss anyone going to Mexico or discourage anyone from doing that, but for me, I just thought about the possibility of having hundreds of thousands of dollars of medical bills looming over my head because I made the choice to do that when I didn't have to. Yeah. Because for me, I have like around, I say I would maximally probably want to lose a maximum of 30 pounds from where I am. So is it worth it for 30 pounds? You know, probably not. Yeah. And now that I've lost 12, it's less than that. So it's kind of like, you know, it's a lot of money, and it's a big potential risk, but it doesn't mean that it is going to, you know, something bad is going to happen. You know, and I have 3 kids. I'm responsible for, you know, my youngest one, she's still under 18. So, you know, I just want to make sure that she can go to college and have a happy life. And for me to bring something like that onto myself because of some kind of misguided, you know what I mean, mindset that I had, I just think would be horrendous. And I just can't. I agree. I totally agree with that. Know with that possibility. So that is my reason. Again, it's not to discourage anyone from going to Mexico, because if I didn't have medical insurance and I was way overweight and needed to get that life-saving surgery, honey, I would be there. I'd be first in line, a.m., knocking on their door, standing in that line. But I'm not at that place now. Okay, I'm just being vain, if you want to call it like that. And I'm admitting it. I have to admit it. I'm very vain, just like everyone else says that they are. I am. But I'm proud of the way I've transformed, and I'm proud of myself. I have. It doesn't mean I think I'm all that when I say I'm vain. It just means that I want to be the best I can be. And I know that I can't turn back the clock and be 25. It's not about that. I can't be a supermodel. You know, I'm already a supermodel. But,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, it isn't about trying to transform yourself into something you're not. It's just trying to maximize your potential for who you are. Because you're really, when you're bigger, you're just a bigger version of you. You know, you're still the same person, the same crazy woman that you were at this weight, you are at this weight. And so it's really just you that you're looking at, you know, back in the mirror. And of course, everybody wants to do the best they can for themselves. And I want to say this, but I might get controversy, but I want to say that I think everybody internally really wants the best for themselves. They want to look their best. They want to feel their best, no matter what other reasons they give. They want to look their best and feel their best. I mean, I can't think of anybody who would really disagree with that if they actually were honest with themselves.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think, you know, the first thing we do this for is obviously health, because, you know, we develop so many health issues at first, right? You know, because you go in there and you're like, oh my God, my back hurts, my feet hurt, my knees hurt, you know, I get long-winded, I can't breathe. And then you know, you go through all your pre-op tests and you find out what you really have and what you don't have. And, you know, and so you're just excited to feel better, I think, is the primary thing. And then, but I think though that even in the seminar, you know, I don't know what your seminar was like when you went, but I think, you know, that's why they bring plastics in there to speak as well. You know what I mean? To give you an overview and a long haul picture of, you know, if you're considering, and, you know, I think a lot of people don't really think about excess skin. I mean, I used to watch, I don't know if you're familiar, but I used to watch this woman called Paper Ballet. Her name was Kelly.
Oh, yeah, I've seen her.
And yeah, and she was an amazing story, and she made videos. She doesn't make them anymore. I mean, as consistently as she used to. She'll make one maybe once a year or something, but she was very, very against plastic surgery. You know what I mean? She would go on and she did her skin flick, you know, after she lost all her weight. And then she realized, and she actually admitted how much she had met a wonderful man. I think he came from the UK or something. And she was starting to talk about and admit how much, I mean, as much as she didn't want to really address that part of her body, it seemed that it really was making, you know, some tension in her life in this relationship. And maybe it was just a personal anxiety. I mean, I don't remember her exact words, you know, but I do remember her saying, you know, that the excess skin was causing an issue, you know, somehow in her relationship or with her self-esteem or what have you. And I remember, like, she was so adamant, like really so adamant that she would not get it. And then later she said, you know, I think I'm going to consider it. I think that particular relationship didn't work out, but you know, it's a good point that you say that, because I think some people say they just won't do it because they can't afford it. You know what I mean? And then some people are really like persistent and really, So, you know, I mean, I know I can afford it, but I would definitely, like, being under all the information that's been placed on me recently, I want to go at least to a consultation, you know, and I do have the apron just even before I got the biggest I had ever been, because I was so small when I got pregnant with my children. You know, I had my second son, I think, at 21, and I was so small, and then all of a sudden I just blurted out into this big, you know what I mean? I had gained so much weight, it caused an apron-like scar underneath my stomach, and I'm really curious to know why that happens, for one, you know, and how it can be repaired, you know, later on in life, now that I've been heavy and lost some weight and regained some weight, and I want him to tell me, you know, where I stand with that. So. Well, I'm glad you brought that up, you know.
Yeah, girl, they could take care of everything. They could people, smaller people. I mean, that's what they do, and they do it right. And they're going to tell you everything that they can do for you. So don't think that you're just going to go get a consult for a tummy tuck. They're going to say, oh, yeah, we can do a breast augmentation and lift, and we can do this, and we can do a facelift, and we can do neck repair. You know, because that's what they're doing. They're selling you their stuff. And so if you could sign up for all of it, then you do that. But otherwise, you just pick and choose what quotes you want to get and get those. But they're going to try to tell you about all the great stuff that you really checked out. And I think it's just, you know, great possibilities. I see so many people who have transformed their lives here on YouTube, and I'm just can't wait so that I have my place in line with the rest of them and just say, okay, I'm done with it.
No. I totally feel the same way, and especially now having regained, I feel like that is more of a motivation as well, you know, to get it off and kind of get to that place. Because I feel like when you don't reach the direct goal, and you know, some people say, oh, it's really bad to have a number in your mind when you were talking about that, you know. But I mean, I'm exactly naturally the same way. Like, I'm just a person that has to have a number in my head, because I feel like not just the BMI scale, you know, and all the controversy with that, but just a healthy way. You know, it's funny that we're talking about this, because just yesterday I said I'm kind of caving at this point. I'm like, you know what? I'd be happy just being 145.
Amen.
You know, minimally.
Miracle. If I was 140, it would be a effing miracle. I don't want to swear too much. Let people see my sailor. But the real me. I am out there. But I had to surrender to 135 a long time ago, because I figured my body is so resistant to this, but you know what I mean? It's because it's so resistant, I'm just going to have to cave and say, okay, if I can get to 150, I will be blessed. And then if I can go down farther than that, hallelujah. But
yeah,
I haven't
well, you know, I'm glad you're saying that, because for me, the lowest I reached, you know, because I mean, my highest recorded weight was 205, and I'm 5'3", but like the lowest, because I had no pre-op diet, you know what I mean? They wouldn't let me gain, they wouldn't let me lose. I couldn't do anything like to even improve myself, you know, like any kind of prep stuff, you know? And then I had started Nutrisystem and Weight Watch, you know what I mean? I was playing around with diets and even paid somebody as a supervised physician, you know, so I started losing some weight. And so by the time I got to consult, I was 191, and I was thinking, these guys are never going to give me this surgery. You know what I mean? I'm too low in number. And when he decided to give it to me, when they started scaling the weight loss, you know, because the lowest I got was like 150.6. I say this in my videos all the time, or 150.2. And I was really kind of bummed that I was watching other people around the same weight as me. Like, if you know, Nurse Professor Ray, you know, she was, I think she was 210 or 212 or something, but she managed to, you know, to reach, So, I mean, I'm just saying, like, she was able to, I mean, I was watching other people, you know, and I was thinking, gosh, why is it so hard? You know, why is it so hard for me?
I want to say about Ray, Ray is one of the most dedicated people here on YouTube that I know. And it isn't luck that she's that small. It's actually thorough. She is thoroughly dedicated to her. Every move is calculated, and she's actually amazing. And I don't think, even after working an 8-hour day, that I could go to the gym for 3 hours from 8 to 11, you know, or whatever it is, every night practically. And she not only trains, but she runs, she lifts weights, you know, she does the whole thing. And she really watches, I think, what she eats. And she's been very fortunate too that her body released it, whereas we might do the same thing and it wouldn't release it. So, but I do have to say, I just don't, I have nothing but great things to say about her. I think that she's, like, you know, a huge role model. And if you guys model yourself after Professor Nurse Ray, I think that you would, well. You know?
Yeah, check her out, because she's not only educational, but she's an amazing journey, an amazing person. She's very informative as well. You know, she shares all of her ins and outs, tips and tricks. She shows you exactly what's good for you, what's not good for you. Kind of gives you that, you know, because that is her profession as well. So it's like, you know, just nutrition and so on. I mean, I learned a lot from her, and I hope to meet her one day, because that's why I was so disappointed in not being able to make San Diego last year, because not only were there just the people that I was sort of communicating with at the time, there were all these people that, you know what I mean, that we've kind of been watching for so long. Yeah, and especially in Southern California, because there's a lot of people spread out, you know, in Southern California. And I know she said she was able to drop in, because I think she wasn't I think she said she might not have time or something, you know, and she was able to pop in. Because another person I really enjoy watching was, oh gosh, I can't remember her name. You have a picture with her. She's really tall, and she's 4 years out too. Let me see if I can show you the picture, because I just love her. She did a dance video. She was she was encouraging everybody, and she did a dance video, and she just was, after I saw her boogie, I mean, I was like, man, I'm in love with you.
On my Facebook page, you found the photo?
Yeah. You have two. You have one with the twin, one with the lovely Rosemary Connie, and the second one you have, she's on your right, and then you have they're both wearing hats. Her eyes are a little bit shut, so I think it's a little bit of a blurry photo, but man, she is amazing too. I started watching her from the very beginning, and she was just amazing. I don't think she makes videos anymore, but again, like when you start to research and you start getting, you start watching even people that had not made videos anymore, when you start researching, there's just so many amazing people that, I feel like I need to share, like, or make a list with the channel. I know the girls from Pretty Losers were saying, like Kelawanda and, like I say, Paper Ballet. I mean, there's just so many people that did so much, like, cause I know Kelawanda Kelly, she did everything from the beginning all the way to she had a full body lift, I believe. And so, she filmed it all. So,
okay, this is something I'm standing with. I'm looking at the pictures, trying to figure out who it is. Is it Sandra? She's tall or short?
No, she's tall. She's tall. I don't know her first name because I think her Facebook page is the same as her handle. I wish I knew her name. I mean, she's just amazing.
Donna from Las Vegas?
Let me look.
Tanya, I have a picture of Tanya in here. You know Tanya.
Yeah, let me.
Johnson.
I put it in your band. I put it in your event. Like I put it in your trailer.
I'll take a look at it. Anyway, we'll figure it out later.
Yeah. Anyway, my point being is that there's just so many amazing people that have been around for a long time. So another question I want to ask that I've been asking everybody is, what drew you to becoming so active in social media? Because I don't know if you realize, but you're very well known in social media. So I mean, so many people enjoy your company, your point of view, your videos. They're so intuitive. You're a deep thinker, which I love. A lot of people know you're going to be joining our BBTV staff. I mean, I'm just so excited to have you on board, but I wanted to kind of cover that because I think, that's really well needed in the community, just really talking about, meaningful subjects and stuff like that. So what drew you to making your channel and kind of, getting involved in networking through Facebook and Instagram and, YouTube and everything?
I kind of just fell into it. I think once I started making videos, it became more comfortable to scenario and meeting friends and people in the YouTube community. I just felt comfortable and felt like I could share some of the things I had learned, things that helped me. My point of view, and I'm a big talker, in case you guys didn't know that. So I love to talk, and anyone that will talk with me is going to have a full day or night or whatever we're going to do of conversation, because I just love to talk about everything under the sun. There's no holds barred. If somebody has a question for me, or I just like to talk, I like to pick deep down into subjects. Like our last topic I did on my channel with the collab was on denial in the weight loss journey. I don't know if everyone has seen it. If you haven't, check it out. It was with Rosemary Robb and Kathy from Canada, Sister Scaleback. And we just I choose people on my segments that are diverse, so that we can really dig deep into a subject where people are going to have diverse viewpoints and so forth, and come forth and be able to share, their ideas.
For sure, yeah. Well, the battle, I think the most important thing about what you do is the battle of obesity is across the board. You know what I mean? It's not just about someone that chooses to have surgery. It's not just about the person that chooses to hire a nutritionist or to go to an actual, nutritionist and follow that regimen, because sometimes that can get very expensive. Or, someone that, just decides to eat clean and exercise for 2 years, because it takes a long time to get there. So I think that's really an important part of, making the dots connect, as opposed to just, oh, well, I had surgery, you know what I mean? Because of, or just staying within that triangle.
The surgery portion is really the smallest part of the journey. I mean, that gives the big boost for the impetus for the body to release a lot of the weight. But then once that weight is released, if the person has not changed their mind and has not developed the proper habits, they may gain most or all of that back. If they have done a halfway job, then they may only gain a little of it back. And some people are so fortunate that they have their every move, so that they gain nothing back. So there's the full spectrum, and it's a balance. It's really, we want to live a normal life. We don't want, I personally, I'll speak for myself, okay? I've been accused sometimes of speaking for others. So I'm going to speak for myself. And you know who you are.
You know what? You can speak about anybody, anything your heart desires. You know, I don't really mind, but you go ahead.
The thing is, I lost my train of thought now. Shoot. What was I going to say?
Talking about, okay, I'll give you a second.
Remind me what I was talking about.
You were talking about just the diversity of having a bunch of people together and the weight loss, not just that the surgery was just a small tool. That's why it's called a tool, you know, a very small increment or element of losing weight. Right.
Okay. So back to that point. You know, once we have gotten past the point where it's easy to lose weight and it becomes a struggle again to lose any weight that we gain, this is where the true test of your fortitude and what you have learned comes to play. Because as soon as that 12 to 18 month window closes, bam, if you haven't lost all of your excess weight, you are still going to have to keep pushing along. And then when you finally do, or if you don't, and you still keep pushing along, like as in my case, right?
Yeah, me too.
Keep pushing along. Otherwise, if you sit back on your heels and start thinking, oh, I can just eat like a normie again, that isn't going to work for you. You're going to gain a lot of weight back just by eating like normal people, even if you're not eating a lot of crap. We still got to stay to that other side. Unfortunately, in my opinion, if you've had surgery, you're going to have to lean toward the other side, especially if you are a woman, you're sensitive to carbs, and you are over 40. You are most likely going to have to lean to a veggie or protein veg diet primarily. Or if you're carb sensitive. If you're not as much, then you might be able to get away with, you know, a little broader spectrum. But for me and many, many people that I've met, it seems to me that they need to have, number one, probably lower calories, and number two, they have to stay away from the carb, even healthy carb, the quinoa, the rice, you know, and whatever, brown rice.
Yeah, I really, I mean, I'm not one to, you know, there's a lot of people in my personal life that'll say, well, you know, you shouldn't be eating this and you shouldn't be eating that. So, I mean, I remember the primary thing they said in my seminar, or the surgeon said, is if you don't change, this is not going to happen for you. You know what I mean? I can work on you as many times as you want me to, but if you don't change, you are not, this will not be a success for you. You may lose the weight in the beginning, but you know, the whole point is what happens 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 8 years from now, you know, that type of thing. So
that's another point my surgeon brought up. He said after the 5-year mark, pretty much all the surgeries are the same. They have done what they're going to do for you, and they're going to still provide some restriction or, you know, some, if you have a bypass or one of the malabsorptive surgeries, they're going to malabsorb maybe for the bypass. I read 100 calories a day at the 5-year mark, or even at the 3-year mark, you're only going to malabsorb about 100 a day. So that's really nothing. That's like a tiny little pack of whatever, you know, those little packs. So that isn't really anything when you look at it, the big picture. So then we're all on an equal playing field, even with people who haven't had weight loss surgery, bottom line, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you know,
once we've gone full circle, we are now all on an equal playing field again. And so we all have the same battle at that point. And I feel I've been on that same playing field with them for a long time, since 18 months or whenever my body said, we're done.
Yeah. Well, one thing I wanted to ask you is, since you were talking about the naked truth, I did not see the segment with the surgeon, but I do have a question about what he shared, because I was reading a lot about, you know, I've been researching a lot about tummy tucks. I feel like there are a lot of areas of my body I feel like that are weak and that I would like to fix, but my primary thing is just my stomach, because it's the thing, and actually maybe having a butt contour, just because I have no backside. I would love for them to take all the stuff in the front and maybe put it in the back. But other than that, I was reading. Yeah, exactly. But I was reading a lot of articles, you know, about plastics and how they change the journey for the patient. And I was reading one area of that said that 70%, I believe, of all, I don't know if it was true, I'm just sort of, you know, abbreviating what they said or bringing it into a small summary. But they said that 70% of all people that have plastics are less apt to gain all their weight back. So when he was sharing his information, did he say anything about how plastics improve your future other than the physique? I was just curious.
I don't recall, and I did not watch the entire presentation.
Okay, or maybe any research you've done too. You know?
You may want to watch it, but I have not heard that that's true. But I do think that, number one, look, this is cash money out of your pocket, number one, right? If you're not having a freebie from your insurance company and they're not going to do the major job, they're only going to do a panty on you. If you're going to have a lower body lift or a tummy tuck with muscle repair, you're paying big money out for that.
Especially here in the States.
Yeah. And so, you know, the thing is, you're going to want to take care of yourself. I mean, the whole purpose is to return yourself to a normal state of being. I mean, why the hell would you go the opposite way? You know what I'm saying? And check, you know, all I can say is I just have to shake my head and say, you know.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I said that also is because, you know, some people like will have their plastic surgery, like, you know, because there's so many ages that have this done, you know, it's not really, it's something that's universal at this point. But some people, you know, will have the surgery done and then all of a sudden find themselves pregnant, you know what I mean? Or what have you, even after plastics. Right, so, you know, sometimes that weight gain comes back, and I don't know if it affects the body the same way, but, you know, I just thought that I would ask that because I know in a lot of my research, I'm just looking for the long term, like when you have any kind of thing contoured or altered on the outside, you know, what are the long overview, you know, long-term results of that as well, you know, because
I don't know, but I would say that if for the pregnancy thing, I mean, obviously I think it has a lot to do with the person's skin, their age, the genetics of how that skin is going to bounce back if they get pregnant after plastics. And I think if you're, I guess depending on the amount of skin that you need taken off, I would probably wait if it wasn't so much and have my kid and then go and have the whole shebang and pay one time rather than to put myself under the knife twice and pay 10 grand twice. And to me, that just seems like ridiculous. But I mean, but stuff does happen. Sometimes people are young when they lose all their weight and they've got a big tummy they need taken care of, and I do get that, you know. So they want to make themselves marketable and sexy and, you know, or handsome.
Yeah,
to the opposite sex or same sex, whatever it might be. So go ahead and make the business taken care of, and I get that. But, you know, I was just talking personally. If it was me, I think I would wait. But, you know, depending on the circumstance, everyone's different, and you got to go for what you know. And I'm the last person that would tell anybody not to have plastic cell. You know, I think just get yourself happy, because who else is going to make you happy? You can't rely on other people to make you happy, right? That's the time they're going to bring you down. So make yourself happy. If something isn't going your way, bring your viewpoint around about what it is and start thinking something else and bring yourself to a happy place. I mean, that's what I learned in this journey, is that other people are not going to make me happy. I got to make myself happy first, and then I can enjoy the happiness of someone else, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's actually a good point, because I feel like a lot of people, I was talking about this with Takesha when she was on the show, about when you know, some people go through that emotional I don't know, wave, if you will, you know, of how this whole transition changes you. Sometimes it's really early in the journey, you know, sometimes, you know, people go through that, what did I do to my body thing, or, you know, or sometimes their body's moving faster than their mind, and all the reactions and people that are coming and going in their life, and, you know, they just have some, you know, they finally realize they're transitioning. And so when do you think that happened with you, or do you have any wise words to kind of share with people as this is happening? Because I really don't think there's balance until, you know, I would say 3 years, you know, I mean, I'm just kind of scaling it, you know, when you really kind of try to figure out how to balance.
Right. I would agree in a great respect, as far as the transition is first. I want to say you're going to do your major transitioning in the first 12 to 18 months, and your hormones are going to go crazy, whichever way that is. Some people get them crazy where they kind of get a down, you know, and some people get it up, and it's a tremendous up. And I want to say that it's for some people, I've observed, it's almost a high school high, you know, the way that they're so social and they're ready to go and do this and that because they haven't done these things, or have never done them, have never been able to do them, or now they're coming out of bad relationship. They realize, why the hell was I with him? What the hell was I doing? I guess I felt that they're better, or whatever the situation. So there's a lot of marriage change and relationship change, and change with your spouse and your children even. You know, I had changed my children, Mom, you never used to go to the gym all the time. You never used to do this. I want you to be the way you used to be, or, you know, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm like, but see, I just took charge of myself. I said, but this is me. This is who you got. I'm the same person. Changed my interests. And now I have all this energy. I have tons of energy from working out and from eating good. All of that has changed my life tremendously. My energy level is through the roof. I can outdo, you know, as far as time at the gym and stuff, I keep up with the young people. And that's awesome for me. I don't necessarily
That's funny.
I don't try to, but it's just the energy level that I have, and I'm happy to have it. For some people, I'm a little too hyper, and I get you know?
So we didn't cover really quick, because I know we're coming up to closing, but we didn't cover, what was your total loss? Because I don't think you shared that. What was your total loss? And then
calculator. I think it was about, my total loss was about 70 pounds. Okay, that was I think that was 70% of my excess weight. And I made a video about that back in the day. And I remember a lot of thumbs down, because people must have thought that I started out too small. And they were unhappy with the fact that I was unhappy with 70% of my excess weight, when I wanted 100% of my excess weight gone. And I worked hard to get it, but didn't get it. So, you know, that's part of my story. It's my part of reality. You don't get 100% of your excess weight. Just kind of rethink it. Time's going to go by. Everything's going to settle down. And you're going to feel like, you know what? I'm kind of okay with what I've got. And I can still tweak it to make it a little bit better. And if I try this or this or this or whatever, I can still move along without being obsessed. It's really easy to get obsessed in this journey.
Yeah.
And the first year and a half, and some people like me have been obsessed for 4 years, and rarely will you hear me admit that, but it has been an obsession in a way, you know. But now I have new diversity in my life. I have someone who's a normie very close to me. So I have toned down my compulsion to drive myself to a point. So it's all good. I think that I actually needed that, because, you know what I mean? At times I was like,
totally, yeah. So
at times I would be so frustrated, you know?
Yeah, so with you being 4 years, did you regain, have you had regain? I mean, just share with have you had any regain, and how much of a percent of that have you had?
From my lowest, I regained 18 pounds, okay? So some of that, they say, 10 is normal bounce back. So then that would be an additional 8, but for me, that was horrifying. Because I went where I wanted to be, and for some reason my body just started going up, up, up. And then of course the other reason was, obviously, I was probably eating more, even though it was healthy stuff. Too much of anything is a bad thing. And if your body isn't losing, then you kind of have to try to figure out what is going on. And so I've lost 12 of the 18, so I have 6 of the 18. And then of course I have another 20 plus to go, but down to where I would really, or where I feel that I would be comfortable. I don't want to lose my curves. My boyfriend likes me the way I am, he says, which is all fine and good, and I love him for that. But I want to be healthy. You know, I want to have the doctor not say, you'd be great if you could just lose a couple pounds, but you look great. This is what they always say. You look amazing.
Yeah,
I can understand that you want to lose a couple pounds, you know? So it's kind of like, they're speaking out of both sides of their mouth when it comes to like, oh, you look great. You know, I can understand you want to lose a few pounds. I get it, you know, so. So I want everybody to be happy. I'm a people pleaser. I like people to be happy, but you know, I got to please myself, bottom line. And I realize I will not be happy being skinny. I would not be happy. I'd be like crying and saying, well, where's my boobs? Where's my hips? I don't got nothing. You know, if I got down to a size 6, it would be like pretty much straight, you know?
Yeah, you know, I think about that myself, because, you know, one thing I've noticed, and I don't know if you've noticed it too, but I lose weight and I gain weight differently now that I'm in my I'm approaching my mid 40s.
Right.
And I feel like my body has changed. I mean, I'm still shaped the same, you know, my physique is the same, but I'm noticing that like my arms are a little bit thicker this time. Do you know what I mean? I'm just, it's weird. Like I'm regaining, and I just noticed that it's so different than it was,
Yeah, it is different.
before I started. Yeah. So it's been really, really, kind of interesting the way regain happens. But I also wanted to ask you, because I feel like it's really important to address as well a lot of negativity that goes on with this journey, in all aspects. I mean, not so much that the people that are jealous, or I hate that word jealous. I don't even mean that. I just mean people that aren't appreciating how hard you're working to change, and that don't embrace change the way you're trying to train yourself to do that. I mean, you chose this for a reason. You did this extreme, decision for a reason. How would you share that you deal, or what would you suggest, or tell people how to deal with negativity moving forward? Because there's a lot of people that it really affects emotionally,
Right. Well, I'm the kind of person that I'll cut you out. That's it. If you're in my house, I'll evict you. I'll get you out of my house. I'm not going to have somebody who is negative in my presence. And as I've come through my journey, I swear I have gotten stronger and stronger. And so there's no stopping me. And I will have a conversation with somebody about it if they're reasonable, right? But if they're unreasonable and they're just saying stuff to be negative to me, I don't have time for that. And that's my approach to it. I mean, I don't know what y'all want to do, how nice you want to be. I'm not really just a bitch about it, but I am pretty forthright, and I will speak my mind. And anybody who asks me something, it's going to get an answer, and I'm going to come right back and, check them, because that's not their business. My life is not their business. They don't pay my bills. They don't do nothing for me. They need to keep their opinion to themselves. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how it is.
I feel that way too. There's a lot of, I don't know what you observe on Facebook and Instagram, not so much, because I'm active on Instagram, but more or less what I put out there as opposed to what I, as I go through the feed. But Facebook is different, because I feel Facebook is a more personal experience. There's a lot of more interaction and activity on Facebook. Right. YouTube as well, but I feel like people are really busy, so they only take the set, bits and pieces of the videos that they need, and then they are, they only really watch full-length videos when they really have the time, But what I feel like is that, I see a lot of people that are affected by what other people think. And one thing we learn in this journey in any journey is don't ever compare yourself to somebody else, because you are an individual. That's what makes you unique. That's what makes you an individual, right? Just because you have the same surgery as somebody else, or different surgery, or weight loss surgery, or you're dieting, or you had 100-pound weight loss, does not mean that it will put you in the same class as the other person, like in terms of personality, how you change, in terms of the way you look physically, the way you respond, or to make changes in your life, period, Mm-hmm. So I feel like all this stuff that goes on Facebook sometimes, and people get really fired up about it, or they get really, a lot of energy, gets like put into it. I feel like that's to me, it's just, you know what I mean? Be a force in the community. You know what I mean? As opposed to someone that responds to, I don't know, maybe the thunder that goes on, where people are basically just trying to hit a nerve. They're kind of, they're poking and poking and poking and seeing what's going to really touch you, and, what's going to really make you fire back until you just haven't had it. But, people can't argue with themselves. You know what I mean? They can't put you down. They can't go on a tangent if you're not listening, or you're not paying attention, and that goes on with the media a lot as well. People say, hey, why haven't you addressed this, or what, because it really doesn't even deserve the energy of, certain things.
I don't get involved in any of that, to tell you the truth. I am participating some more on Facebook, but I only do participate in a positive way. I don't have time for negativity in my life. And if I see that someone's not feeling well or not doing well, of course, I'll express my sympathy or condolences, whatever is necessary, and or support. However, I just don't engage in negativity. And people who are engaging in that, I will not post on their pages. I might glance at it, but it's kind of like, oh my God, that is just not my thing. It really isn't. I just can't bring myself to get into that, because I've got other things to do.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just noticed, I'm saying that, like, in the feed, like when you add, like right now, I think I have, I don't know, 1,100 friends, or, or something like that. And part of it is obviously we're gaining, people that are in the community because of the show and so on and so forth. But I'm just saying, like, I see some, I like to at least acknowledge, you know, posts in the feed, because I feel like if I'm going to make friends with all these people, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like whether I know them personally or not, I definitely want to be a source of encouragement in their journey. But I don't feel like I'm drawn to the negativity. I see it, you know, a lot. I see it happening a lot. But and unfortunately, that's why, to be honest, I mean, even though that I have my ink addicts group, you know, because I like tattoos, I have my 80s group that I just recently, you know, made, you know, put together. Yeah. But that one thing I learned very early on in the community, and I don't know if you did too, is I rarely participate in groups, because I feel like there's a lot of things that go on in groups that are closed, you know what I mean, that are private. And I just feel like sometimes that's not necessarily used for positive. I mean, I'm just going to say it because I've seen it happen, not recently for me, because I haven't participated in a group in a very long time. I do the coffee addicts because I like that. You know, I think that's cute. I didn't know that. Other than that, you know, it does happen. So
I'm in several groups. Some of them I just read, and I'll, you know, leave a comment if I want to. I have too many posts, too many things in my feed to comment on every one of them.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I don't know that person. Chances are I'm not going to comment to them, or I haven't gotten some type of exchange between them commenting something to me and then me back and so forth to get to know them. And I'm finding that I'm getting a lot more men subscribing to like at least 5 or 6 every day. And I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, you're in a thing right now.
And I'm just like, who the hell are they? I don't know who these people are. I've never seen them make a video. And if I haven't seen you make a video, then how do you want to know me? You know, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I don't mind. It's just kind of, I don't know. It just kind of makes me feel kind of strange.
No, I agree. You know, because when I first started out, I wanted it just to be women. And I thought, well, you know, maybe I'm being kind of, you know what I mean? Because I felt like weird. Like, there are some people out here that are trying to make a change, and I can't just say, okay, I'm just, you know what I mean? It's just all females that are doing that. However, I do feel like, you know, and it's funny that you're saying that, because since I've started the show, you know, I start revving up the Facebook page, and, you know, I'm announcing everybody that's involved, and then we're tagging each other, right? So, and we all have a different caliber of friends and all that good stuff. I'm getting a lot of requests, but some things I'm noticing, what I have realized is that some people that are really, like, let's say their default page or picture is kind of maybe really fitness, you know, oriented or something. I'm realizing that a lot of people are associated with Beachbody. I guess that I have some friends that are involved in that Beachbody community or whatever. You know, that I have some friends that are involved in the rap community. You know what I mean? And I don't mind. In my first run with Facebook and all this stuff, I used to just approve everybody, like I said, and then I narrowed it down to just females, and then I thought, okay, I'm being, you know, I need to broaden my scope and blah, blah, blah. And I'm trying to be as well, like, because now that we're running the show and we're just growing, if you will, I feel like people are writing me now, actually, as well, and people are writing me on Instagram as well, and I feel like I need to, you know what I mean? In order for people to know that I'm real and I am who you see, I want to definitely encourage and respond and so on and so forth. But I will say though, that I do get a little bit leery, because I don't know sometimes who these people are, especially when Facebook has went through that change of, remember, everybody had to use their own name.
Change their names.
You know, yeah, they had to take away, you know, their VSG or RNY or whatever they were using, you know, as a handle on YouTube. And so I lost sight of, you know, so I feel like, man, I don't want to be judgmental, but at the same time, what if it's somebody that's not really, you know, associated with what we do, and how will I know that? Do you know what I mean? Like, so I feel like, where's the line that you draw?
I look at who their friends are, and I think, well, do these people know this person?
Yeah.
You know, or I always think that, did they just approve this person, or who is this person? And I go through, look at their photos like you do, and try to say, well, is there something that this person and I have in common, or why is it they want to friend me?
Yeah.
You know? So,
what's really weird is, like, if they only have like 5 friends and then they don't have any pictures. I hate that. People don't have any pictures at all. You know, like, they just have all these like icon Instagram or Pinterest type, you know, pictures on their thing. And oh my goodness, I just don't like that myself. Yeah. But so
that.
Yeah. So first of all, I just want to say thank you very, very much for taking the time to spend some time with me and share your story with our growing viewers as we start this. I want to announce that Zen will be a part of our team. She will be running her own segments on the show periodically as she decides what she wants to do. Like I've mentioned many times, I want to give everybody the opportunity of having their own, space and time to interview anybody that they want, and really enjoy that time one-on-one. We will be we're thinking about as well doing a hangout with all of the BBT members, maybe once a month, kind of talk about, what we want to talk about, kind of like the talk or the viewer, something of that nature, just where we all, yeah, exactly, where we all get, together. It's a broad scope of ages and different surgeries and all that stuff, so that's going to be fun. So just want to let you guys know that she is a part of the BBT team, and so if you ever see her tagged and so on and so forth, please, reach out to her if you have questions, if you want some, some suggestions, or maybe, you're struggling with something. We all want to be open to that. We're here to not only share our stories and, and bring light some new things to the community, but also just be here to, to correspond with you guys as well. But I did want to ask you, so for those that do take the time to watch this in full, what would you recommend, or what would you leave as a pointer or as a tip to anyone that's going through this, that's, just kind of trying to get their health together and their journey together and all of that? What would you, what would you want to leave with a meaningful thought for them?
Okay, I would want to say just depending where you are, of course, in your journey. You're talking about for someone who's newer? Yeah,
or just, across the board. I mean, moving forward, maybe someone starting out, maybe someone where we are, that's struggling.
Right. I would just say, first of all, take a good look at yourself and what you're doing every day, and break it down and analyze it, and try to understand why you're doing the behaviors you're doing that are not helping you. Because for every step that you're taking away from your result, that's exactly what you're doing. So you have to talk to yourself and kind of get yourself back in the right place in the saddle, so to say. You have to get food out of the driver's seat of your car. You got to sit in a driver's seat and hold onto the wheel every day. And the minute that you sit in the passenger seat and you let food drive your car, you got problems, and I'm just saying that's just a simplified version. The other thing I would, that's just a couple things I would check. The other thing is I would want to encourage you to really learn to love yourself and to dig deeper into your mind and to free yourself of negativity and just trying to find a peaceful place for your mind and your body to rest so that you can process all this stuff that's going by you and all this stuff in the community and all this stuff in your own family life. And, come to some conclusions and make some like little statements to yourself and try to move forward on those piece by piece. And that's really a couple things that I would offer out that have been very helpful to me. And it's an evolution. It's a total evolution. And as we go farther into it, we continue to evolve. Nothing stays the same. Our weight today is not what it was yesterday, and it wasn't the day before, and it's not going to be. We are not going to be ever at a static point. So we have to just be okay with that little movement of life, because really at the end of the day, does it matter what we weighed on the day we die?
Yeah,
that's really matter what we weighed on the day we were born, except if we were, whether we were healthy versus unhealthy, right?
Yeah, that's a really good
think about that. And the scale really should not be the person or the thing that drives your every move. And I know that at the beginning really is very important, but I mean, at the end of the day, you want to be happy and be better off, a lot better off than you were, and always try to strive to just be a little bit better, right? Whatever that means to you,
And one more thing I want to ask you just to leave the people with as well is, this is so overwhelming in the beginning, or even as we go through, because we always come back, right? I mean, when you leave, you always think, or you always know that this is the core, this is the seed, this is where your foundation, where you find growth in some areas, as you go through each change that you happen. So my question to you is, or my question to you actually is, how can you tell people to, what is your best advice as far as incorporating this heavy social media activity in their lives? Like how, because I feel like some people they live and breathe it in the beginning. You know what I mean? They just, everything is about, I'm waiting for videos, I'm waiting for posts, and just having that anxiety, which is, it's a good thing, you know, to share all your feelings and anxieties in the beginning. But I feel like sometimes it can be, you know, as you're going through your journey, it can be a lot, you know what I mean, to be a force in this community. So what would you suggest for people that don't know how to kind of balance this out, you know, with family and friends and kids? And
you got to remember that, you know, you have to remember the full scope of your life, and that this is a part of your life. It's not the whole thing, but at the beginning you are very consumed with it, and I guess your family will adjust to that or not. And as time goes on, as you remove all those toxic foods from your house, they kind of have that reaction, you know, and so forth. But as far as social media is concerned, I don't know. I watched a lot of YouTube, and I was never without something to watch, and it was always exciting to get to watch new videos. And I think you actually do just sort of burn out on watching over time. And I think that if you're like sucked into it, then that's okay, because it's a process that you need to go through to soothe your mind and convince yourself, I'm like her. She's just like me. You know, you say don't compare.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. Of course, everybody is looking. Oh, she's about my, she started at my weight. She had the same surgery. Oh, this, oh, that. And of course, the mind just does that. I think that it's not necessarily that you want to be like them, but you've got these dreams in your mind. Wow, she's this far out and she looks great, you know? And it's inspirational, and of course it should be. And I think you should take away all the positive from that. But as far as negative and the social media, I mean, you have to balance your life, and you're going to come to that conclusion sooner or later, especially if you're in a long-term relationship, a husband, children. I mean, you know, it all has its place, and you just have to learn how to balance it. I don't really have any specific advice on how to do that, other than keep your head together.
Yeah, well, I'm just behind you, and the thing I think about that is that there is nothing negative about being a part of this, for one thing, for me. I feel like this is a passionate place, you know, that people rest. It's an inspirational place, like you said, it's a positive thing. Like you said, I feel like as well that there's nothing, I feel like if your family or your spouse or your partner or your husband or whatever, you know, whoever it is that you live with on a daily basis understands that this is basically a positive channel of energy for you and helps you be successful, and understands that this is not like, there are some people that feel like this is just a virtual world, you know what I mean, of like make-believe people. And it really isn't. I mean, this is a foundation. It's an organization. It's a place and an opportunity for people to go and have adventures. You know what I mean? Because I've seen your pictures with WLSFA. I mean, you don't necessarily have to do that at every event, right, or every year. But I feel like you can make this a real part of your life. And there are some beautiful and special and wonderful and compassionate and empathetic people that feel what you're feeling, go up and down as you go. And I feel like don't ever let anybody rob that from you, you know, or take that good energy away from you, because I feel like people, you know, it's just ignorant. I mean, you know, they just don't know what you're involved in, and if they really are that, you know, sort of threatened by it, then I feel like they should ask, because I've seen a lot of people that start out going to these events singly, and then they all of a sudden are announcing that they're bringing their spouses, you know, they're bringing their partners, and it becomes not only just this event experience, but also they get to go out and stray away from that, you know, and experience wherever they're traveling, you know, with their mate. Maybe they want to go, you know, like I know Nashville is this year, and you know, it was San Diego, and then Vegas and Florida, and you know what I mean, just all these different places. So all I want to do to tag along on what she said is just, you know, don't let it rule your life, but don't let it, you know, it like be a threat to your life either. You know what I mean? You can learn a lot from everyone in the community. And as she said, I mean, some of these shows out here are also having professionals on, you know, that are sharing good and educational information. And we just want to encourage you guys, you know, to just be part of the community, be active in the community, because you can't know people unless you reach out. You know, you can't know, people cannot get to know you as well unless you make that YouTube channel and you make your videos, you know, and bring light to your personality. Let us know who you are. Let us know what you're going through, because there's not a soul out there, I can tell you right now, that has not either felt what you're feeling or been through what you've been through, or, you know, are going through the same thing. So just kind of want to say that. But in closing, we want to thank you, Melody Zen, for being on with us. Please look forward to seeing her with the show. She's going to be a guest host periodically. We'll let you know as we rotate. She's just a wonderful person. I want to thank you so much for spending time with us. And we will see you guys next Wednesday with our next guest. So thank you so much for watching. Take care. See you next Wednesday. Bye. Bye.